Bed bugs, dust mites, harmful bacteria. We spend a third of our life in bed. You may not realize it, but you could be sharing your bed with up to 2 million of them. The powerful allergens in dust mite droppings can cause symptoms such as itchy eyes, headache, sneezing, and congestion. You may feel exhausted even though you've just woken up. Well, now's the time to start cleaning what you can see and what you can't. Introducing the UV UltraVac from JML, the high-tech, ultra-efficient way to remove bugs and bacteria from your bed. It features a UVC light that kills 99% of bacteria, like Salmonella and E. coli. Plus, it terminally affects the DNA of these microscopic pests. The powerful vacuum gets deep into the fibers, helping to remove the mites and their eggs and their allergy-inducing droppings. Tests have shown that with regular use, the UV UltraVac from JML can remove over 90% of the dust mites living and breeding in your mattress. Thanks to the special telescopic handle, you can now use it on your carpets and your rugs, helping make your home a safer, cleaner place to live for you and your family. The UV UltraVac is an excellent way to help eliminate dust mites, bed bugs, and bacteria. So if you suffer from allergy symptoms associated with dust mites, or just want that extra peace of mind and a great night's sleep, then you need the UV UltraVac from JML.
We all love the feeling of a great night's sleep. We spend a third of our lives in bed. We clean our sheets, we clean our duvet covers, but we rarely think about what's inside our mattresses. I'm talking about dust mites and bed bugs. And here to tell us how to tackle those pests is our very own Simon Hinton. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Lisa. Now, did you know that the average mattress can contain up to 2 million dust mites?
2 million in our mattress?
2 million of
Wow.
them. It's not a very nice thought now, is
No.
it? You know, they love to live and breed in your nice warm bed, and they actually feed on your dead skin cells.
Oh, that is disgusting. It's making my skin crawl now.
It's horrible, isn't it? Now, look, they're microscopic. In fact, you wouldn't know that they're there, but they can cause allergies. This is the UV UltraVac from JML, and it's going to deliver the first punch in the fight against those dust mites. Now, if we could just bring the studio lights down for a moment, please.
Right.
That first blow is delivered by this. Now, this is a UVC germicidal light. Now, we've modified this UV UltraVac for demonstration purposes, so you can see it on TV. When you get yours home, the light won't come on until all 3 feet are depressed, which is a brilliant safety feature. But this UVC light has actually been used in hospitals for over 100 years because it kills over 99.9% of Salmonella and E. coli.
That's impressive.
Very impressive. But what it does in this context is, as you pass it over the top of the dust mites, it actually changes their DNA, which means they're no longer able to reproduce. The second blow is actually delivered by this.
Okay.
Now, this is a really powerful vacuum in conjunction with this. Now, this is a HEPA filter.
Now, I've heard about HEPA filters. They're really good to have in vacuum cleaners, aren't they?
Exactly, they really are. But this isn't just a regular HEPA filter. This is a true HEPA filter. Now, what this does is it traps anything that's above 3 microns in size. That is 99.97% of the particles that are in the air.
Okay.
I'm talking about pollen. I'm talking about mold spores. I'm talking about dust mites, their eggs, their droppings. And when they're locked in here, they stay in here.
Which means that we're not breathing them in, and therefore they're not causing us allergies. That's fantastic.
I suffer from dust mite allergies, and you know, I get itchy eyes and I sneeze.
I'd get like the dry throat, I'd get itchy eyes, I get congestion.
I've been putting up with waking up most mornings with a runny nose, runny eyes, sometimes a sneezing fit.
You know, I wake up sneezing.
I feel like I've got a permanent cold.
It's really absolutely horrible.
I am such a fan of the UV UltraVac because it's something I can use in my own home. It's actually got rid of all my symptoms. I don't sneeze anymore.
You know, since we've been using the UV UltraVac, really surprising. And I'm not having that bout of sneezing first thing.
I've been using the UV UltraVac and I'm really impressed. I've been waking up and I feel like my airways are a lot clearer.
Dust mites are something that you just couldn't do anything about. They're in every mattress, every bed, no matter how clean, no matter how new. And I'm thrilled to find that UltraVac is the answer.
Now, all we need to do is switch the UV UltraVac on and then just move it up and down the mattress like this. Now, that UVC germicidal light is terminally affecting the dust mites. and the vacuum is sucking up the bed bugs, the dust mite eggs and the droppings, and it's locking it into that true HEPA filter. Now at home you may not be able to see the light working, but if I just lift it up slightly, I'm actually pushing up one of the wheels here, you can see the light. Now if you do this just once a week, you can have over 90% less mites and bugs in your mattress.
Now that is amazing news. I mean, this could be your bed, a guest bed, a child's bed, and even a cot. So basically, you're cleaning the dirt you can see, like bed bugs and those nasty dust mites and their droppings that we can't see. I have just got to get one of these.
My name is Noel and I work at the National Pollen and Aerobology Research Unit at the University of Worcester. We've carried out recent research into the amount of dust mites in an average quilt. We found nearly 1 million. House dust mites, they live in beds, carpets, furniture, so mattresses are ideal really for them to live in. They are a member of the arachnid family, they're related to a spider. So at night when you get into bed, they move to the surface of the mattress. Then they will start to feed on the dead skin cells that you produce when you move around in bed. It's actually the fecal drop-ins that you're allergic to, and so symptoms are itchy eyes, runny nose and congestion. The UV Ultravac has a UVC lamp attached to the front of the machine. So this changes the DNA of the house dust mite, and so this will stop it reproducing, and so there'll be less house dust mites in your bed. The UV Ultravac contains a true HEPA filter. This will trap 99% of all particles that can travel through the machine down to 3 microns in size.
So do not forget that we've got the germicidal light that's attacking the mold, attacking the bacteria, the E. coli, the salmonella. This technology is simply fantastic.
Especially if you've got young children, lodgers, you rent a house, or if you suffer from allergies.
But the UV Ultravac has got another surprise up its sleeve.
Another one? Show me, Simon.
Another one. Watch this. One push of the button and look what happens.
Wow, of course, yes, you could do carpets and rugs. That's fantastic.
Exactly. Now, I want you to use your Ultravac on your carpets and your rugs, but I also want you to use it on your kitchen and bathroom floors, because it's all about the UVC germicidal light. And it's not just helping to zap the mites, it's also killing the E. coli and the salmonella. Now, Elisa, does this look familiar to you?
It does, Simon. And I've got a 4-year-old son at home, and that is very recognisable.
Well, the UV Ultravac has got a really powerful motor inside it, so any little spills, any little bits of dust or little bits of biscuit like that, you can even use your UV Ultravac to go under the sofa and into those really hard-to-reach places.
So now those nasty bugs have got nowhere to hide.
Elisa, you could use your expensive cyclonic vac that you've got at home all day, but it's not going to do the same job as my UV Ultravac.
I want one, Simon. So if you want to get your home truly clean, in fact, if you want to clean the unseen, then you need the JML UV Ultravac.
The UV Vac from JML is great. I recommend anyone getting one. If you've got allergies, go and get this product because it really works.
You know, we spend a third of our lives in bed, and we really ought to make that as comfortable a place as we can.
It's very satisfying to know that I'm getting rid of the dust mites and I'm feeling a lot better when I wake up in the mornings.
It doesn't just look clean, it is clean.
Bed bugs, dust mites, harmful bacteria. You may not realize it, but you could be sharing your bed with up to 2 million of them. Our beds provide a nice, warm, comfortable home to bacteria, dust mites and their eggs, living, feeding on our dead skin and breeding inside our mattresses. The powerful allergens in dust mite droppings can cause symptoms such as itchy eyes, headache, sneezing and congestion. You may feel exhausted even though you've just woken up. We know who we share our bed with, but we may not know what we share our bed with. So how will we ever sleep soundly again? Introducing the UV Ultravac from JML. The high-tech, ultra-efficient way to remove bugs and bacteria from your bed. It features a UVC light that kills 99% of bacteria, like Salmonella and E. coli. Plus, it terminally affects the DNA of these microscopic pests, helping to stop them breeding in our mattresses. The powerful vacuum gets deep into the fibers, helping to remove the mites and their eggs and their allergy-inducing droppings. The super-efficient True HEPA filter grabs and traps not only the mites, but dust, pollen and mold spores too. Cleaning your mattress and cleaning your pillows. You can even use the UV Ultravac on your sofa, your cushions, curtains, in fact anywhere that dust mites live and breed. The UV Ultravac is compact and lightweight. And now you have the incredible bacteria killing power of the UVC light, vacuum and filter in your hands. Reports suggest that after 2 years, our pillows consist mostly of dust mites. Dust mite excretion, dead skin, bacteria and saliva. Tests have shown that with regular use, the UV Ultravac from JML can remove over 90% of the dust mites living and breeding in your mattress. Thanks to the special telescopic handle, you can now use it on your carpets and your rugs, helping make your home a safer, cleaner place to live for you and your family. Your ordinary vacuum cleaner may be powerful, but without the germicidal light of the UV Ultravac, it can't have the same effect. We spend a third of our life in bed. We clean our linen, but how often do we clean our duvets, pillows, or our mattress? Well, now's the time to start cleaning what you can see and what you can't. The UV Ultravac is an excellent way to help eliminate dust mites, bed bugs, and bacteria. So if you suffer from allergy symptoms associated with dust mites, or just want that extra peace of mind and a great night's sleep, then you need the UV Ultravac from JML. Call the number on the screen now.
A great night's sleep is so important. Our bed should be our sanctuary, a place of total peace and relaxation. But the news that we're sharing our bed with millions of dust mites, bacteria and maybe even bed bugs can be quite disturbing. Not to mention the health problems their allergens can potentially cause us, creating symptoms such as headaches, congestion, wheezing, itchy eyes and sneezing. But here's the good news. With the UV Ultravac from JML and its special germicidal light, we're helping to reduce and eliminate dust mites, their waste and bacteria.
Now I want to show you just how powerful the UV Ultravac really is. Now in here I've got some polystyrene balls, okay? Now the moment that I switch the machine on, just look at the power that it's generating. Some seriously powerful airflow in there.
Definitely.
And look at how the balls are actually sticking to the true HEPA filter. Now that proves that the air is being drawn through it, removing over 90% of the dust, dirt, dust mites, their droppings, their eggs, the allergens, and not to mention the fact we're also sucking up the bed bugs and locking them in the filter. That has got to be brilliant news for allergy sufferers.
Simon, that has got to be brilliant news for all of us. But you know, I want to know what the difference is between a bed bug and a dust mite.
Right. Bed bugs are much bigger than dust mites. Take a look at this picture.
Okay.
Bed bugs live on mattresses and in the seams around them. They're nocturnal, so they love dark nooks and crannies, and they feed on human blood.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
What's worse is that they actually bite. Now, if you've ever been unlucky enough to have been bitten, you know how horrible that can be. Now, this is what the bites actually look like.
Oh, Simon, that looks so uncomfortable. That really does look horrible, doesn't it?
But I've got good news. The UV
Hooray!
Ultravac can reduce bed bugs by up to 90%.
Fantastic. You know, the UV Ultravac will be perfect for maybe rented accommodation, student halls, bed sits, if you rent a room out to a lodger, or even for a second-hand mattress.
That's right, Elisa. Now, bed bugs are nasty things, and anything that helps reduce them has got to be a good thing.
I second that.
I own a B&B and I need to have a very quick turnaround in my rooms, and the UV Ultravac is perfect for that. It's very quick to use, super efficient and stores away very well. Customers are coming in for 2 or 3 days and I know they like to come into a nice, fresh, hygienic room and sleep in a lovely bed. So that I can make sure they've got that good facility, I use the UV Ultravac on the mattresses each time a customer leaves me. So I'm sure that there are no bed bugs or dust mites and everything is clean for my new customers.
Bed bugs live in small nooks and crannies all around the house, in walls, floors, and even in the mattress. Bed bugs are nocturnal and they come out at night to feed. They feed on human blood. You know when you've been bitten because you come out in red blotches and it'd be very uncomfortable.
Use the UV Ultravac everywhere where dust mites or bed bugs might lurk.
Use it on the sofa and chairs, pillows and cushions. What about your curtains? Or if you've got a dog, why not use it on the dog basket?
Absolutely. What about cots and kids' mattresses? Think about that potty training and all those accidents. And now we've got the germicidal light to help fight not just the dust mites but bacteria too. So not only are we going to be sleeping with peace of mind, but our kids are as well.
Remember the telescopic handle. Now this means that we can do our carpets and our rugs, our bathroom and our kitchen floors, every floor in the home in fact. And don't forget that with every use of the UV light, it's killing 99.9% of the bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. It's sucking up over 90% of the dust mites into the true HEPA filter, and it's removing 90% of the nasties like bed bugs from inside your mattress. The UV Ultravac is ideal for allergy sufferers. Now, I'm an asthma sufferer and I know personally what a difference the UV Ultravac can make.
Why just vac it when you can
UV zap it
with the JML UV Ultravac?
You know, it's good to know that technology in the UV Ultravac is proven technology.
We all like to use the right tool for the job, and the UV Ultravac is the right tool to help eradicate dust mites.
I feel like I've got my life back because I've been able to use the UV Ultravac.
Finding something that actually does work is just incredible. So I'm just so happy with that. It's just, so I'm telling all my friends.
Bed bugs, dust mites, harmful bacteria. You may not realize it, but you could be sharing your bed with up to 2 million of them. Our beds provide a nice, warm, comfortable home to bacteria, dust mites, and their eggs, living, feeding on our dead skin and breeding inside our mattresses. The powerful allergens in dust mite droppings can cause symptoms such as itchy eyes, headache, sneezing, and congestion. You may feel exhausted even though you've just woken up. We know who we share our bed with, but we may not know what we share our bed with. So how will we ever sleep soundly again? Introducing the UV Ultravac from JML. The high-tech, ultra-efficient way to remove bugs and bacteria from your bed. It features a UVC light that kills 99% of bacteria, like Salmonella and E. coli. Plus, it terminally affects the DNA of these microscopic pests, helping to stop them breeding in our mattresses. The powerful vacuum gets deep into the fibers, helping to remove the mites and their eggs and their allergy-inducing droppings. The super-efficient True HEPA filter grabs and traps not only the mites, but dust, pollen, and mold spores too. Cleaning your mattress and cleaning your pillows. You can even use the UV Ultravac on your sofa, your cushions, curtains, in fact anywhere that dust mites live and breed. The UV Ultravac is compact and lightweight. And now you have the incredible bacteria killing power of the UVC light, vacuum and filter in your hands. Reports suggest that after 2 years, our pillows consist mostly of dust mites, dust mite excretion, dead skin, bacteria, and saliva. Tests have shown that with regular use, the UV Ultravac from JML can remove over 90% of the dust mites living and breeding in your mattress. Thanks to the special telescopic handle, you can now use it on your carpets and your rugs, helping make your home a safer, cleaner place to live for you and your family. Your ordinary vacuum cleaner may be powerful, but without the germicidal light of the UV Ultravac, it can't have the same effect. We spend a third of our life in bed. We clean our linen, but how often do we clean our duvets, pillows, or our mattress? Well, now's the time to start cleaning what you can see and what you can't. The UV Ultravac is an excellent way to help eliminate dust mites, bed bugs, and bacteria. So if you suffer from allergy symptoms associated with dust mites, or just want that extra peace of mind and a great night's sleep, then you need the UV Ultravac from JML. Call the number on the screen now